Welcome back, everyone, to NLC Division 2. My name is Alexandre Archaromaya, and I have the pleasure to be casting once again with Jamada.
Hello, sir. Good old Pantheon enjoyer, if I may say so myself. How are you doing? I'm happy to be back with you, brother.
Yeah, it was a long time since we did a cast. I realize now that I forgot to open like the video, so I'm not watching anything, and I need to watch you, man. I need to get your face somewhere. I'll fix this eventually. It doesn't
You'll,
matter.
you'll, you'll fix it. You'll fix this out.
I'm so happy. Obviously, we wrapped up the first division. We got the 6 teams. We got to see Pantheon. I would rather see Pantheon with Presty attack as a support, but I got Pantheon. I saw Kane as well, and I wish
I'm
someone
very
could pick
jealous.
a Kane for you, man.
I'm really jealous. I like all of the picks that I play in pro play. I've missed out on, except for Tuesday. Whilst you weren't here, we actually got an Alawi pick, which was really really fun.
I
Uh,
saw that.
yeah. So I'm hoping that we get more wacky picks. It seems like we brought it up on the day whenever me and Initialize get paired together, we just get these really weird picks. He made a list actually, because we had like Sonar, we had Yorick. It was a bonkers day. So I
Mhm.
hope we get that same level of chaotic energy in the games today.
I still believe we're playing in the past patch, which means
Yeah,
it's
12-4.
no nerf on Jinx,
Nope.
no nerf on the Hullbreaker, sadly, for the range as well. So we might see a lot of Nars, we might see a lot of Jaces alongside with the Graves. So the usual potato potato, but who knows? It's Division 2. This is where the random picks, or I would rather say like interesting picks, gets to thrive in the scene. And we have a beautiful day ahead of us. And if it's possible, I would like to see the schedule to understand what games are going to be on the menu today. I know our production master.
There you go.
So, okay, there you go. So it's a good day to start off, and we have Lightside versus Raid. To me, this is like one of the bangers to begin with.
Yeah, no, I think this is probably, as far as the standings are concerned, it might be the most important game of the day because if Lightside end up losing, Rate they grow the gap between them for the playoffs race. And I think as soon as Rate open up that gap between to 2 wins, all of a sudden Lightside's job in terms of getting into the playoffs just becomes so much harder. And even for the rest of the pack as well, Verdant and London United both picked up wins. It's an opportunity for them later on today to try and catch up to that sixth place spot. But if Lightside drop that game to Rate, their job also becomes a lot harder.
So it's a good one to start watching. If you don't know where you're watching, it is NLC Division 2. We have a lot of good teams. Specifically, we have teams that are saying, oh, we can actually beat up teams in Division 1. We can go to EU Masters. And the idea is they have players to do that. The skill in this Division 2 is huge. So buckle up. It's going to be a beautiful day. And now looking into the standings so we can understand a little bit
Yeah,
better of
spoke
what
about it
games
a
we're
little.
going to have. There you go. Monster Gaming are still Monster Rugby Gaming because often I forgot to say rugby. There you go. Monster Rugby Gaming is going to are still in first place. Natives following it up. Flong really close in third place, and then we have the middle of the pack. It is Domino, Lucent alongside with Raid, and then Lightside, one game away. Verdant and Dunland United still have a lot to do if they want to get to that playoff spot, if we can call that. And AAB are sitting at the bottom of the table. They need to win as much as they can from now on if they still want to get a shot at playoffs.
Yeah, I think today, if Rate, Lucent, and Domino all end up winning their games, they are immediately locked out. And I think if they lose too. So AAB, a lot on their plate if they want to make a miracle happen. Unfortunately, their matchup was against Verdant, and it was a very important game where Verdant just ended up looking very, very good, as you'd expect. But yeah, to me, it's that Lightside versus Rate game because Lightside, a team that you would expect to at the very least make playoffs. So, you know, just about missing out on that by the skin of their teeth would definitely be a little bit unfortunate. So I want to see them stay competitive with Ray in the opening game of the day. And I think probably the reason why we're saying that Lightside might not be able to make it in is because of the likes of Domino and potentially also Lucent, right? Kind of subverting expectations a little bit and really pushing to stay a top half of the table team.
Everybody's tied up on that specific spot. And if you look into the difference between Flung and Natives, we're talking about a single game. Monster Rugby Gaming are comfortable in the first position, obviously, for playoffs. But then you look below, and it's one game away between these. Just as you said, Lightside, if they lose today, it's going to be really rough for them, specifically because they're fighting off versus someone that is looking for the same spot as they are. So there's no joke in the first game. and they have to pick whatever they can. Obviously, we're going to see a little bit more meta in this game, I believe, because you need to bring all the weapons you can in order to win this one. Whether you're in the raid gaming side or the light side gaming, you need to bring as much as you can into the champion select.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think whether it's, bringing the outright meta picks or even if you want to stray just a bit out of it, just like one curveball per draft, that's kind of what we were seeing on Tuesday. Either way, like you say, I think you need to bring the strongest tools you believe you can bring to the table each game. And hopefully, in the case of Lightside, I think it'll be a shame to not see them make it to playoffs in that top six. And this is probably going to be maybe their most pivotal game of the split, if I had to really coin it right now. As like you see, we are into picks and bans. Hecarim, Zeri on the red side actually being removed away, whereas Gwen and Twisted Fate are removed away from Lightside, which typically you see these bans on opposite sides. So very interesting to see both these teams banning away on both ends. And Swain removed away from Nomi. We saw it be pulled out by rate the other day, and it definitely did look very strong. And they know you're here. It's so good, man. I love the fact that so many of the Div 2 players pay attention to the memes. And if they're really on it, they might even end up hovering Kane at the same time. We'll see. But yeah, that Pantheon pick just there to tease you. I imagine, yeah, something like the Aphelios or the Zinzal.
I like that. I like that. It was close. It was close. Maybe one day we get to see another Pantheon in the professional play. It's not in a good spot right now, so obviously, just a hover. Getting the Xin Zhao is a great pick. Obviously, you leave the Aphelios available, which is one of the only hyper carries we have nowadays available. So Jinx and Zeri are removed from the table. Let's see what they can reply if you're on the light side, because Caitlyn is still on board.
Yeah, Caitlyn is still on the board, and going for something like the Karma, if you want to pair up with your jungler now, like if you wanted to go for the Viego or even the Lee Sin, could mean that you set yourselves up for that Caitlyn Karma lane if you do see the Aphelios locked in. I do fear, though, the issue is for Lightside, or for Rate rather, they go for this rotation, Lightside could now just kind of go Aphelios Thresh, and they feel really happy about what they're staring at right now. Because Olaf, even if, yes, he's being buffed up, running into the range of Aphelios is kind of scary. If you go past that sort of 25-minute mark, you're not going to be able to just immediately blow him up anymore with the Ragnarok and the shields. Aphelios should have enough survivability tools in his kit, almost regardless of what guns he has, to deal with that. So let's see what Lightside want to go for here, because the Aphelios is the most stock standard answer. And I think when you have the opportunity to have fresh Aphelios and Zinzal for your bottom side as a 3v3, you normally take it more often than not. And there you go. The hover pretty much indicates we'll probably get this lock.
This is one of the best rotations that you can get in the first half of the champion select. Xin Zhao, Aphelios, and the Thresh. It's more than secured. On the other side, what can you pair this Karma with? Because we still don't know where Karma is going to be. It could be top, it could be mid as well. We've seen a lot of Karmas in the mid lane with Moonstone. I don't enjoy that, but I'm just saying that is a possibility. But you have this push potential with Karma alongside with the Jhin. You take it, I guess.
Yeah, no, you do. And like you say, we could still see the likes of Topi on that Moonstone in the mid lane, Karma. And it would make sense to facilitate specifically the Olaf, of course. So we'll have to see whether or not that ends up being the pairing. And Rate for now, they might be in a bit of a tricky spot depending on where they actually want to put the Karma. So I think, yeah, this is probably the safest bet. Remove away these setup mid laners that can pair up really well with this Zinzal. The LeBlanc obviously makes the most sense. I think after that, you're maybe looking at the likes of potentially something like a Vex as that next lockup, or if you want to go something more standard, I think taking away the Victor could also be something that provides you with a lot of value, because as Olaf, as an ex-Olaf player, I'll tell you right now, running into the burst damage of Victor and Aphelios in the mid game doesn't seem like a fun prospect at all. And I think denying that away from 5p and Lightside would probably be the best call. And there you go, the Victor's off the board. And now it's just one more ban towards what I would expect to be Topi. If anything, you could also still remove away Arcane Teddy's champs, of course, something like the Camille, the Fiora. And I also think if you want to try and aim at Topi, you probably remove away the Tryndamere. So I'm expecting one of these 3 bans.
I'm seeing a lot of attention from Raid to the bot side and the mid lane as well. The jungler is going to pay a lot of attention for Jhin alongside with the Karma, unless they pick some sort of a carry into the top side. They're removing that idea because Arcane Teddy is one to know. He is a good carry in the top. So obviously you need to remove that Fiora, you need to remove that Irelia, but then you have the Gnar available for Lightside. I think they're kind of baiting it in because they also have a tremendous amount of teamfight potential. So what is Raid going to open now? Do they reveal where the Karma is going to be and pick a mid lane, a control one? There we go, the Syndra, and they save the top.
Okay, so this says to me they're looking to play through the mid lane 2v2. I don't expect Arcane Teddy to pilot this Karma. Whilst he definitely has the ability to, I just feel like it would be a bit of a waste. When you're on red side again, you can just give him the counter pick into Svene. And Svene is very much a player that is capable of sitting on something like the Ornn or the Gragas and just soaking up the pressure in that 1v1 in the tank lane. But Arcane Teddy will always find the way to try and grow his own lead if you give him the matchup for it. And I feel like putting him on Karma would be a bit of a misstep. You can probably pilot out that 2v2 in the bottom side. It might be a bit risky having the Karma into the Thresh, but I think you're okay with doing that. 5P picks up that Rise, which means we're going to see a lot of side lane plays more often than not towards this bottom end when you've got so much setup already there between the Xin Zhao and the Thresh. Now it's up to Svene on what he wants to do for the weak side. I would expect the very stock standard traditional answer at the moment. It's that Gnar blind, and with the Aurelia off the table, it's a lot less risky to do on Tuesday. We finally got to see Arcane Teddy yet again on his famous Aurelia, and to say that he had a pretty good time on it would be a bit of an understatement. Malphite would have a fair amount of value here, to be honest with you. You survive the Gnar lane quite well, and you deal with Aphelios quite easily as well, just simply because you have so much pressure in terms of the positioning he has to watch out for that Malphite Ornn. But I think the Ornn pretty much achieves the same goal, just of slightly more scaling to the rest of your team, a little more utility in that sense, and a little more versatile of an engage. So I think Rate definitely needed that because before they locked in the Ornn, they're definitely lacking a true hard engage tool. At least now with the Ornn, if they hit something that they like, they can always follow it up by having the Ornn, not the Ornn, the Olaf kind of run in there with that Ragnarok and all of those Mantra shields.
I gotta say, this is the Exodia for Lightside. You have all the picks of
Yeah,
the meta right now. You
it
can
is.
rotate, you can look for the late game. Everything is in accord for you. The other side, I see Olaf. Olaf is a tremendous jungler in the beginning, but if you fall off shortly,
Yeah.
what can you do as an Olaf? So what lane should Born This Way be playing for? Because he needs some sort of the lead at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, so I think at least for this game, you're probably looking towards mid. The issue is I think it's probably going to be more of a level 6 angle unless Fatty really steps out of line and allows for Born This Way to get on top of him. Because the issue with Olaf is his ganks aren't necessarily the strongest, especially in the shorter lanes, right? He needs to walk into these lanes where people are overextended, and then the retreat back is a very long walk where you're just getting undertow slowed after undertow slowed. Olaf skirmishing is what's very scary and very potent. The gank's a little less, but he still has enough setup in the mid lane to probably play off that. And I definitely do believe that they win the 2v2 in the mid lane, especially at level 6. I think, though, what we're more likely to see Born This Way do is play a slightly more reserved style until he hits level 6, gain access to the Ragnarok, and then try and go a little bit crazy, because that's when you can kind of, walk into the likes of the Xin Zhao and kind of eat the Xin Zhao just through the fact that you can't get knocked up. You are a little bit squishy, but you deal so much more damage that Xin Zhao normally can't necessarily stand up to, but Zin's burst damage in his own right is also very scary. So it's one of those jungle matchups where checking into each other, it's a big risk. And that's something we're going to have to track. Who's the more aggressive of the two? Because I feel like Born This Way might lean to more farming antics, whereas we'll see Xin Zhao on the opposite side play a little more aggressive towards these lanes because he does have the setup for it across the board.
So the setup is perfect for Shinzao. It is perfect for Lightside to secure themselves some distance versus Raid. This is something that they need right now. Raid needs to win this one if they want to move forward. Remember yourself, we're approaching the playoffs. Only 6 teams will be allowed to move into that situation. And these are 2 teams who are at this point fighting for that 6th seat. So we still have a lot of weeks ahead of us. Don't say okay, oh it's completely locked out. No, it's still a match 14. So day 14. It's still a long to go. But there we go. We have the bird's eye of the Raid. It is going to be Lightside versus Raid. And this is an interesting early game. Born This Way has to do it. Victor just needs to hold it until the late game and have what they need to secure it.
Exactly. And whilst I don't want to cast the cursed light side, but they also kind of have to consider the possibility of what if Verdun and London United catch up to us, because it's only a 2 game difference, especially or as walking into this game, it's only a 2 game difference. If they drop this game, for example, then all of a sudden London United and Verdun both win their games, they're breathing right down their necks, and they're both tied in that like 9th place position. Because we have to remember, relegation is a thing in Division 2. Whilst it's not present in Division 1, it is here. You finish in the bottom 2, you have to play in the relegation series, and you have to risk your spot. Seems like great. They're going for this late invade. Definitely makes sense. You got the Olaf, very, very strong late invade champion. FIP is going to make the rotation over here, so it's going to be a 4v3 at the very least. And
Ooh.
Lightside, they're playing bait. They actually grew the death sentence out early, so now they're going to reveal themselves. But Nas here too, so it's a 5v4.
That's a lot of damage coming in from Born this way, throwing the axes away. Karma dealing as well the ship damage, but it's 5v3. They have to let this one go. Arcane Teddy is on the top side. He doesn't want to play with this, and Nar is going to be forced to take away the TP. So the only thing they get, it's a summoner spell from Sven. They are going to get that information because Sven appears out of nowhere into the top side. But Born this way gets a little bit slowed in the jungle to begin with.
Yeah, fortunately for the Olaf, being chunked out as well, starting on those buffs solo, he's going to actually tear through those camps quite quickly. He might even, it had Victor gone for a full 5k clear camp, which I think would have been a little bit odd. Oh no, he did. He did actually go for the Raptor. So he might just end up doing most of the jungle camps here. Olaf might match that pace just because of how quickly he goes through those camps by himself. We'll see exactly what Victor wants to do on the pathing though, because he's gone onto the Gromp, very standard. Will he just avoid the blue buff and go up towards the top side? Arcane Teddy had so much priority because Svene went and defended that, invade that. He's going for a ward, so he will get a little bit of information there on the top side. And on the bomb side, Touch and Sedi, they actually missed XP. I'm not sure how much between the two, but because of that, it does mean for now that Person and Nomi do have full priority on the bottom side. As you would kind of expect from a Karma Jin lane into most matchups anyway, but forced a little harder because of that XP difference.
At this point, there's not a lot of action, so maybe let's talk about Fatty P with the Rise. You have a lot of rotation, but Nomi is going to get hooked by the death sentence, getting fairly low. They're looking for touch, but it's going to be Sadie with the weapons, just getting the sustain, getting the snap as well, but they're comfortably enough to push him away. Born this way, fancies it, looks at Sveen, but the hop is still available, so unless Nar uses it for an engage, nothing's going to happen out of this one. He's going to appear on the top side, force the hop away, and he still takes an axe to the face.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about Olaf's early ganks. They're not the strongest in the world. Definitely a little more suited to kind of power farming, looking to skirmish off of lane priority, counter ganking, those kind of things. Those suit Olaf in the early game a little bit better when you don't have as much setup as the likes of, for example, Lightside do. But still poking his head out. Good to get a little bit of pressure onto the map. And we'll just look to clear out the rest of jungle camps and probably reset. On the bottom side, Victor did pick up that Skull Crab. Didn't look for a bottom lane aggressive play. I think just because Sadie and Touch got a little bit too chunked out, maybe didn't feel confident in the 3v3 and was unsure where Born this way could have potentially been, having left the bottom side of the map so long ago. And we'll just get his own reset in whilst dropping a ward. As Svene definitely finding the worst end of these trades, but I'm sure once he's able to find a reset window, we'll be just fine. Arcane Teddy doing what he does best, finding these lane advantages even in a tank matchup.
I gotta say, you're a Nar, but you're facing the Shaman, Warlock, Fighter, Priest, whatever you want to call it. He is everything you want to be in D&D, and there you go. So he's going to take the lead on this one. Teleport is still available for Ornn if he wants to go back, but obviously you can just shop or build your own items in lane. That's what you get. Oh, he was looking for the second Ruby Crystal in the face of the enemy. That's just disrespectful, Arcane Teddy. He's going to push up the wave, try to force Ven to stay here or at least lose a lot of minions. And there you go. Nar is going to be forced to stay in lane. Maybe Arcane Teddy could go into the river and see if he has some sort of fruits to sustain himself back up. Or he's going to buy in the face. I love this.
Yeah, he's just building. Looks like that fruit. So the thing is, that fruit spawns in the next 30 seconds. So he can just wait if he so wishes, and it seems like that will be the choice for him. Finish up Bammy Cinder, so his wave clear is going to be a little bit stronger. Will mean that he can just stand in the backline creeps, for example, and they will just die to the Bammies, as witnessed. But Svictor is on his way here, so if Arcane Teddy gets a little bit too comfortable, might have something like a flash forced out. Looks like he will finally take that reset window, though, and Born this way, doing what Olaf loves to do. Pick up these early dragons. Pretty much as close to on spawn as you can probably get.
That is a fast lead out of nowhere, at least getting themselves the Cloud. Looking at the mountain is going to be the second one of the game. And now finally Victor. He did a lot of times, went into the enemy jungle, tried to see, okay, can I ship a little bit of these minions? I need a little bit of them. I need to slow down the Olaf. And as soon as you get the sound from the dragon, okay, I think this is time to finally steal away something. He did it on the Raptors. He left a little chicken as a survivor of that situation. And now Olaf is going to find himself a little bit slowed in terms of jungle clear, because it's only a little raptor that is standing alone on that cave. But he doesn't care about that. He's about to reach that level 6. And when you get the level 6, that could be the window that has been searching to get a gank. Probably in the mid, probably in the bot, because on the top side, you have the hop, so you're comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. On the top side, Force of N8 should be safe in most cases. But he has been getting low right throughout that first reset. Maybe now that the reset has come in, he'll feel a little more confident. But as you can see, Born This Way already looking to put pressure down towards the mid lane, get some priority, force priority here with Topi, and leech a little bit of XP to hit that level 6 mark now. So this is now when I expect Rate maybe to be a little more proactive through their mid jungle, maybe down towards the bottom side. But yeah, have to remember always that 5P can rotate down here. That's a death sentence.
I don't think that's a death sentence for the person we think it is. Touch getting really low, pushes Sadie as well to the back, and Nami flashes up, gets the shot on the face, and here comes Born This Way for the second one for Raid, getting themselves 2 kills in the lead versus Lightside.
Yeah, and that's just over-aggression from Touch. I'm not sure what the idea was entirely. Maybe they just felt like they had a little more skirmishing power, but Svictor was on the top side, I believe. And Born This Way, they just saw him path into the bottom side. Not that he would have made too much difference, but did mean that Sadie just kind of gave up and didn't want to burn the flash and just died on the spot. As this Herald will be traded out for that play, so we'll see what Lightside can actually do with that in the extended sequence of events, as those 2 kills, they balloon or help to balloon the gold lead up 2,000 gold. So Lightside, they're going to start to feel that on the next couple of resets or so. For now, they're going to feel okay, but once those items and that gold does get spent, the differences between the 2 laners will start to be felt just a touch.
And that's why if you look into the bot, Nami with the Boots of Swiftness and the same damage that Aphelios has. So it's a lot of movement speed and the same damage. Let's take a look at the replay. The engage is good, but it's a lot of damage coming in versus Touch.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Your Glacial Augment Thresh, you're not so tanky. And I think maybe just didn't quite see how chunked out he got from that Mantra Q from Person. Stood on it, and like we said, once Born This Way comes in, Sadie just accepts fate at the end of the day. Lets themselves go down. I think just makes the right call to hold on to the flash.
Look at the top. It's not the same as it was in the beginning of the game. Zveen is now a little bit more comfortable. He has a pickaxe for himself. He's already at 24 in terms of gold, so he's getting closer to that pop in terms of gold as well. And he's taking this matchup way more comfortable than he was at the beginning. Obviously, Born This Way went to the top side. It was a nuisance, so it didn't help on the matchup for the Gnar. But if Gnar gets himself a little bit ahead versus the Yorn, and gets himself as well the Hull Breaker, I think it's going to be a little bit tough for Arcane Teddy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Gnar can really outscale so many champions on the side lane that maybe typically he wouldn't have or as much success into prior to the Hull Breaker build, just because he's got so many extra resistances. But if Arcane Teddy ends up in a situation where he has to hold Sven for a very long time, he can always just spec into something like the Warmogs. It's a little bit of old school tech, but still works out. Get chunked and just kind of regen the HP back up each and every wave. Not too fussed about it. As we've not really seen.
Keep my attention into the farm. If you look at the plot, Nami is so far ahead of the others. It's not even close. This is really important for the matchup, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it definitely can feel that way. As the Aphelios, right, you're one of the hyper-scaling win conditions of the team. If you're starting to fall behind, you're going to hit those spikes a little bit later. And for 8, that could be a big deal, because you're running that Olaf Syndra. Olaf is going to want to pick up this dragon pretty much on spawn. You can see from his pathing, he's clear top to bot, and he is going to be on that dragon on spawn. Ray have held bottom side priority quite consistently. Now on the top side, they're looking to go at Arcane Teddy, and he might just look for the 1v2.
Rise is on the back, looking for another one. The flash comes in to get himself into safety. There's the Herald available, and yes, Born This Way, you might take the dragon down, but I think first turret is in jeopardy. There's no teleport to help him as well. This could be it.
Yeah, this could actually just be the whole tower if they really want it.
Oh, they want it.
Yeah, and that's a whole bunch of gold. You have to remember, full 5 plates, plus first tower bonus. It's definitely going to claw that gold difference back between the two. Yeah, and for Zvictor as well, actually, if we could toggle over to the gold, because I think after this, he should probably be able to pick up more or less most of his Gore Drinker, if not all of it, I'm pretty sure.
Look at this, the advantage out of nowhere. Now it was, oh, I'm sitting behind in terms of farm at the beginning. Oh, it's going to be rough. Bam, gets the plates, gets the assist, gets everything. Said he needs to get away from this play as Death Sentence goes wide, but that's a beautiful ultimate. No root though, as Vin comes in to join the fight. He has the Hull Breaker, so he's not going to provide anything at all, but I think they're fancying a little bit more plates. They need no more plates, because Ornn is not going to push, so Sven has a lot of time to go back to the top. Oh, yes. They want to do a cheeky one.
Yeah, they might, right? Nomi looking for a little bit of a chunk out, maybe even a solo kill.
There's the Lantern. He's trying to look into the light. Then the first shot goes in, Jamada. As he was looking into safety, looks back and Pamp gets Tamp on the head.
Yeah, exactly. Nice little death brush there. There's just no vision in those. Lane brushes are now right. They're looking to get aggressive onto this red buff. They need to bleed this pressure immediately, and that's what they're going to do with the Olaf here. And a 50-50 for the red, and it goes Born this way's favor. And now Zvictor in trouble. Ragnarok's ready and available.
He's going to use the ultimate. He takes one down with him, and then the Lantern now works. The X goes wide, and Touch is capable of actually saving someone this time. Jukes him around as well. He loses the red, but gains the kill in the process.
Yeah, I don't think Zvictor's going to be too upset about that one at all. 300 gold for, what, 100 and a little bit of XP, plus that slowdown for 2 minutes. Absolutely A-okay with that trade. Zvictor holding his calm, and actually Born this way made an incorrect call there. Didn't quite have Ragnarok, I beg your pardon. It was a couple of seconds off the cooldown. If he had that, the extra AD probably would have helped in executing that Xin Zhao, but was able to turn it around. And Touch comes in for that last second clutch save. As right now, Sven is just going to be a massive nuisance here in the top side. Constantly hold the line high. And as soon as he feels like there's any kind of pressure that he might end up getting jumped onto, he will just immediately back up. But for now, he knows. Olaf probably on the bottom side, can see Syndra at the moment. I can hold this line for as long as I want to, as long as I know that my jungle is either going to be here or on this side of the map. Information is key and rate. Definitely feeling a little sore about that top side, but on the bottom side, Nomi already at Gale Force. Double longsword as Touch.
Touch is going to get Touch and is going to go down for the killing spree of Nomi. So this Jhin is going downtown. Curtain calls, gets the first, second as well. The third one is the sniper, and the most important one goes wide, but it doesn't matter. Forces the flash away. It is a summoner spell. It means that the turret is also exposed. They can take this one for themselves, but now look, Xin Zhao is taking another one, and they're not letting this one slide.
No, they're not letting it slide. So Lightside, they're doing the correct thing, right? They're kind of splitting the map in a strong side, weak side fashion, but I just don't know how much this is going to pay off for them, because the Aphelios is that late game hyper carry. You can't really contest the bottom side. Just because it's a little bit too far gone, in my opinion. So it makes sense why they're splitting it so hard and trading these objectives across the map. But Nomi is going to provide so much of those curtain calls over the top. Being so fed and Born this way is going to be unnaturally strong, because the Karma is going to be there to provide the additional utility. Whether they go Moonstone or Shrelia is yet to be seen, but I know either way it's going to be very, very spooky to see that Mantra shielded up. Olaf with the Ragnarok, all the movement speed. Yeah, exactly. It's just going to get run down so quickly. And the thing is, Lightside, they've got a lot of, peeling CC, a lot of, pushback CC. Olaf could just ignore it. He doesn't really care.
Gets himself locked. They're trying to ship him away, taking into account that in 50 seconds we get the third dragon of the game. It could be the third one for Raid as well. Trying to get that soul point on board. And it's for an X-Tack. And let's be honest, on the Jhin, on an Olaf as well, you don't want to give them more slows. You don't want to do it.
No, you don't want to give them any of the extra attack speed, the haste as well. Even though it'll only be 2 at most. I mean, Olaf never gonna sneer at a little more attack speed than Nomi. Whilst it does make him attack a little bit faster, obviously attack speed scales a little bit differently on Jhin. I can't remember what stat it gives him. It's either AD or movement speed, or both, or all 3. It's
the what? The what?
Attack speed on Jhin. I've forgotten what it actually gives him.
If you get attack speed,
Critical Strike gives him movement speed. Yeah, you just get more. It levels out to more damage. That's what it levels out to.
It always goes for damage. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. Oh, they're going to give this one away.
Yeah, all right.
For free at 16 minutes, Yamada. This is a This is a Soul Dragon
Yeah.
or a Soul Point at 16 minutes in. Obviously, they're looking for the inhibitor to try and open up that one. But in terms of gold, there's still a big discrepancy at the top side. If you look into the other lanes, oh, the
But
AD carry specifically,
yeah,
it's
see,
not even close.
this is the thing, right? That top side matchup, how much does it really matter that Sven is up 6.7k gold at the end of the day when your AD carry is still at 5k gold at 17 minutes into the game when the Jin's this fed? You're not really too fast as rate. You're happy about that. For Lightside, if they can leverage the pressure that Svene has, great. But it's going to feel quite hard to play front to back for the next couple of minutes, or at the very least the foreseeable future. And they've got 4 minutes to get as strong as possible to contest for that Hextech Dragon. And I mean, Svene could even just get run down here.
Calls in the Forge, he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
The Root connects as well. Nar can do whatever he wants, but Board Display will not be knocked against the wall. That's another one for the Olaf. He's feeling comfortable now. And Lightside now trying to get anything in the map, but they don't have the lanes pushed. They don't have presence. Looking to the vision. I believe they're trying to get the top side vision for themselves, but they're not comfortable enough. And the bot side, it is not secured as well. So Raid can move across the map, and they're comfortably making these peaks. And the only thing they're going to lose is a T1 while they're trying to open the mid lane.
Touch.
And looking for touch as well. Touch every single time he engages.
Oh.
He gets engaged upon. He goes golden, but he goes gray after that one. And I don't know if Sadie is allowed to be there, as the perfect ultimate from Ryze gives them the distance to close in and get a 1-for-1 support for AD carry. This is good for Lightside.
Yeah, honestly, Lightside, they don't mind picking that one up. And who actually got the kill credit? Was it Sadie? Was it the Aphelios? I actually just missed out on that. I think it's 5P as hovered by the observers. Thank you very much, Reed. I will take your word for it as, yeah, Rate getting a little bit over-aggressive on their weak side. They just made a play on the top side. Light side, they're taking that tier 1. They're always going to get rotated onto just going a little bit too deep because Touch buys enough time with that stopwatch. It means that they can at the very least trade out some kills. But again, when you think about, you know, the... Oh, it was Sadie. Okay, thank you very much. I'm... even our observer got it wrong. But, yeah, the difference in gold is like even for Lightside, which feels good. You've clawed back a gold lead, great. But again, when you start to break down where the gold is, who's actually got the leads, this feels totally okay for Rate right now because Ornn is low economy. He doesn't care about being behind. Now Fatty Pete be in trouble. Born this way can very easily run him down.
There's not much you can do at this point. You lost the ultimate to get a kill, and now you get punished for that. Trying to get the split push, you're going to be forced to go back. Now, can you use this skill for anything, or are you just stopping the bleed that was happening on the top?
Yeah, just maybe stopping the bleed a little bit, just forcing Lightside to maybe play a little more defensively on the rest of the map because they're going to be down for the next 25 seconds or so. But when you say a free pick like that, you just take it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And Lightside just weren't quite defending it. And it just feels like at the moment, Lightside, they're not sure where to really leverage. You know, like if Rate make a play on one side of the map, they've been great at responding to that, but they don't quite seem, in this game at the very least, to know where they can get aggressive, where they can find picks. And now Victor could be caught out here.
Double knock for this way. No ulti though. Remind yourself. There we go. The knockback is going to connect. Even though he's indestructible, he's going to get rooted on the ground. Nomi is going to take another one. And now it's the little Gnar running away. No help available for 4 members. He's trying to juke everybody. He's capable of doing so, but health bar is just going to go down for another one. 1 minute until the dragon, so the only thing they can actually take, it is the T1. And if they overstay, there we go. Teleport has been delivered. They burned the summoner spell, but not much is done.
Yeah, but I just don't feel like Arcane Teddy even cares about burning that teleport. For the next couple of minutes, it might be relevant, but right now, I mean, look at his health bar, look at his mana bar. He can just buy items if he really needs to complete anything. He's totally okay with being here at this moment in time. And Rate, after getting those 2 picks, looks like they're going to chunk out and just about execute this tower. And then they're just going to have perfect setup here on this bottom side of the map. And despite Lightside a few minutes ago having control of this side of the map, the vision relatively bare. They got that 1 ward there on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. They're positioned more for a play coming in from the top side, if anything. And that's about it. As this is near darkness on the bottom side for Lightside. Rate kind of just pick a bush and choose where they want to murder anybody. As thank you, Reed. You can see that's the only ward, only bit of information they have. Blue ward burnt. Svictor almost killed.
It's not almost. He's going down. He's unstoppable. Olaf gets himself sustained. Svin's trying to do something on the backside as Fanny comes in hot with the rise, gets the ultimate to the backside, brings in with the Gnar, and on the other side the fight is still going on, and it's going to be Borden's way to tank it up to die in the process. Nomi is alone. What is happening? Lightside is taking this victory for themselves. Everybody is bleeding. They try to run away. Nomi with the vision, but Sven is looking at him. He fancies him, gets the Gale Force, but the hop delivers the Chugi for another one, getting the killing spree. And Lightside gets this team fight and maybe their first dragon of the game.
That was a great call, Archer. Yeah, there you go. They should be able to pick up this dragon here. And Rate just a little bit too split on that team fight. Arcane Teddy is diving pretty much 2v1 on Sadie, which is great. But at the same time, the rest of his team kind of getting minced by the Lightside damage. I'm not actually entirely sure where it came from. Born this way got chunked quite low when he was going in to try and assassinate the Aphelios. Didn't quite get those shields in time to bolster his HP. And yeah, Rate, again, like I said, a little bit too split. Lightside, whilst they themselves are also split in a slightly more, a little more defensible of a position. And they make it work. They pick up that dragon. They stop the soul from going over. And Rate, they're going to feel a little bit sore about that. We'll get the replay as Victor just about dodges out on the Scat of the Week. He looks like he should have been stunned, honestly. But because he doesn't die there, it means that Olaf, he overcommits in towards the Aphelios. The Aphelios deals a bunch of damage to him. And you can see 5p so much AoE. That's where the HP bar goes. It's 5p with all those overloads. And the Essence Flux is on the top side. You can see eventually Arcane Teddy does pick up those kills. The issue is the rest of his team being murdered by 5p. 5p once again for Lightside, being somebody they can rely on in these team fights in those later stages. On the rise this time, it was, I believe, it wasn't Victor. It was Victor that ended up being their downfall.
I gotta say, I saw that HP just being chunked away, and I thought, oh, this is Inferno. This is Moonlight Vigil with the Inferno. So there was no, Seti is not even close. Wait, was this a tank rise damage? There you go. As soon as you get to the late game, the damage is still there. You get tanky as well. So positioning vision is top priority so far for Rate. They cannot let themselves get caught by another one of those. But it's 6-11. The gold gets a little bit closer now. Only 1,000 difference. The dragon is still a danger for Lightside. So they cannot allow the enemy team to take that one. Because aside from bot side, everything is aligned. And if you look into the top side, the gold as well, Gnar is just running away with the lead. So it's mostly about Jhin with the lead and Gnar with the lead. So tell me, do you think an utility AD carry Jhin is going to bring the same as a split pusher Gnar with the Rage? I don't know, because these are two characters that I don't know how to work with this lead.
I mean, it really depends on how well, in my opinion, Arcane Teddy holds Svenne on the side lane as well, if you ask me, and how well Svenne is able to utilize the side lane, because in the previous game on the Alawi, it felt like Lightside, they weren't particularly too well-versed at running with an Alawi draft, which, to be fair, you can't really fault a team for not knowing how to play an Alawi draft out perfectly either. Was very, very, very lenient on making roams up towards the rest of his team when he felt like he had to be there. This time around, definitely been a little more selfish in the 1v1. It's definitely worked out for growing his own personal lead. Lightside had to yield that map split for a very long time. Like you said, utility carry and Jhin, how much can he really get done? He starts to turn into a bit of a pseudo hyper carry once you hit that Infinity Edge, once you hit that sort of like 3-4 item onwards. Just because he gets so much range, so much movement speed. He can become quite difficult to lock down, but I think Lightside just about have enough tools to have it not be too big of an issue. But still, if Nomi goes untouched, or other person can also buff up the Jhin, then it can definitely become a bit of an issue. Yet to be seen, though. Hasn't exactly provided one of those pop-off Jhin moments just yet. Not to
Vision
any
is
fault.
really important, yeah.
Yeah.
They cannot get themselves caught again. With
Exactly.
the Rise looking at the curtain call, having enough time to go there and stack the overload as well. If you have enough time to stack, it's because the Jhin was... It's not about the Jin's position, it's about the team vision to allow Jhin to position himself.
Exactly. And actually, I like that we just got a glimpse of that in frame, because Ornn is now starting to hand out items to the members that need it. The Aphelios already has the Typhoon. Well, not the Aphelios. The Jhin already has the Typhoon. And I actually can't remember what Gordrink is called when it's upgraded. It's something quite edgy. I remember that. It's a
Oh,
ceaseless hunger.
ceaseless
Yeah.
hunger. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. uh, and those are pretty decent upgraded stats. It's like an extra 5% Omnivamp, a bunch of extra damage, a bunch of extra HP. Really enjoy those stats. And Death Stance is in now for this Olaf. So he's really, really, I won't say on the hardest spike he would have been on for this game, but that Death Stance is going to make him a little bit harder to take down. And it's Ray again with first move into this dragon for now, but they're going to have to return to the mid lane in a moment if they want to pick up the wave. But I think just yield it. Give up the wave. You don't really care about it. 15 seconds. Just stay in position for this dragon fight, if anything. And now Topi also coming back to try and help out. And they're just going to look for a fight in the mid lane.
It has been called upon to get Sadie. He's forced to flash away,
Yeah.
but don't look at Olaf. He doesn't care, but he has to go
Ooh.
back. Svena is approaching into this fight. No rage bar though, so it's a mini Gnar at this point. They still have to build it up. They did a little bit of poke. What did they waste? They waste Arcane Teddy ultimate alongside with Born This Way. And on the other side, you burn 2 flashes away, and the carries at that.
Yeah, I mean, you get the carries, flashes, but you also burn probably your 2 most important ultimates. As Ray are being slowed by the Hextech Dragon, that's an engage!
Victor is forced to put himself in defensive
Svena.
position. As Svena gets the Mega Gnar, but the damage comes through, and the curtain calls. They get the dragon, but the HP bars are going down.
Oh.
That's a massive shot in the back. He didn't even see it. Everybody falls into the ground. Touch is the only member surviving, and he's going to be witness as they going to roam into the Baron Pit.
It's Ray that win out on this fight. They lose the dragon, though, which is going to feel a little bit bothersome. But again, they pick up this Baron buff in the extended trade of things. 4-1, not too fussed at all about that one. Really well executed. It looked very scary when Svene got teleported onto the backline by that Realm Warp with the Mega Gnar ultimate, but only able to execute the support. It's not the biggest ult that ends up coming through, and then Ray, they're just able to turn it onto the members of Lightside, who just kind of overstep. And I have to say, I think in that initial engage in the mid lane, they probably could have been a little more aggressive, but they bide their time and managed to win out on that fight. And I have to say, I feel like Ray, having burned the Ragnarok, having burnt that Call of the Forge God, I was unsure if they'll be able to contest this fight and win out, you know, quite handily. Especially, you know, the Hextech Dragon slowing everybody down. That's a pretty big engage from Victor. Look at the Mega Gnar. It could have hit OP as well. The Gnar, it's such decent setup, but you can just see 5P. He gets stunned up, gets CC'd. Fortunately, it's Born This Way that's too far away from the dragon to actually find and execute. And Nomi, all of these shots, finding their mark, executes everybody that he has to. 5P not able to make it to that land, and even if he did, I think he'd die in flight. Really good stuff.
It really
From
good
the
stuff.
right
That's
side.
the way to put it. He lost the dragon nonetheless. Okay, Wraith were not capable of securing themselves. Dragon Lightside still have that one in the bag. They do lose the Baron though, and the buff is going to help Wraith just take it away. Look at that. He's just shipping away that turret like butter in the summer. Is a good one. Bring in. He already has the Infinity Edge. He has the Lord Dominix as well, looking for the 4th item with critical strike. So he is now an hyper carry. He's not an hyper carry that needs to deal a lot of shots. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, you're dead. That's a death sentence, but it's going to be on Arcane Teddy. He's going to take this one with no problem. He has Born This Way alongside with his trip, so they're not allowed to deal any damage to these 2 members. Obviously, Born This Way has Ceaseless Hunger, by the way.
God.
The item, Death Sentence, does nothing. The shield is going to provide him safety as they're going to take another turret. They're looking for the inhibitor. Nobody is doing anything. The gates are down, Jamada.
Gates are down, and they're going for the engage too.
They're going for the engage. They delete Shinzone away. He doesn't do anything. 40p is a tank, and he's getting demolished. Annihilated with the beautiful Mega Gnar. Sadi is trying to do as much as he can with the Aphelios, but the damage is not coming through. And Topi, Arcane Teddy have to finally bail out as they secure themselves the defense. The turret stays alive. It is close, Jamada, but they stop the bleeding.
It's close, and it's another massive Svene ultimate that saves them from potentially losing out a lot harder than they maybe should have in that initial engage. He just finds the flank, and it's right in between the walls as well of the base gate. And it's one of those things where visually you're like, he's just going to slam him through the wall. No, you have to remember, on the right side of things, that's a solid wall to get smacked into. I think 3 members, maybe even 4, connect. And Sadie, they don't quite have the best guns in the world to capitalize fully, but still, a 2.5 item Aphelios finds the executes, and Victor, just the unfortunate victim of that dive. You can see the next target is, of course, 5P on the wall, but where does this teleport flank come from? It comes from the bottom side. I didn't even see. Svene was actually split pushing on the bottom side.
Ooh.
Mega Gnar about to run out.
Ooh.
Flash away from Topi. Otherwise, that's a 4-man Gnar into a full chain. And just imagine if Sadie had something like Red White or an Infernum,
Yeah.
anything else. That's everybody getting absolutely wiped on the right side of things. And this is the scary thing about Lightside's draft, right? It is very much a meta. Our team can late game team fight and blow people up. But in the early game, it was all about the pressure that Nomi and Person brought to the bottom side on the opposite end with Born This Way stacking up these dragons, but they just were never able to confirm this soul to try and, make that bridge a little bit harder to be put up by Lightside. Lightside doing their damnedest to hold on. And it's another engage with the Ornn.
They know it's a mini Gnar, so this is a good opportunity. Thresh disappeared, he was annihilated. Sadie takes the fourth shot, but it's just not enough to chip away any part of his HP. Spectre is looking for the flank, gets himself spotted, is Olaf trying to secure the flank, and don't take your eyes away from Topi. He hasn't died a single time. 21 stacks of Magi's as all the cooldowns are going down.
Oh, that's massive.
As the new weak from Sadie is so low as Person is trying to help him. The Infernum is no longer there. The Chakrams are dealing damage, but this Syndra is doing so much work for Raid.
Yeah, Topi again. Both these mid laners so frequently focus of attention when it comes to their team's performances. And Topi, like you say, deathless so far. Almost max stacks on the Magi's. And this should finally be confirmation of that Hextech Soul. It's very rocky past 10 minutes or so. Lightside were doing such a good job of holding on. But this Soul is going to make things so much harder.
What a lovely game, Jamada, to start off the day.
Yeah.
What a lovely... League is actually beautiful, man.
It is. And
I
you
don't
have
care
to
what
remember...
people say, it's beautiful.
You have to remember the implications for this
Yes.
potential rate win as they do stand poised and ready to take it. Is this will now open up the difference between 6th and 7th place by 2 wins, which was absolutely massive when after this you're only going to have 2 more weeks of regular split play. 4 more games. You have to hope that rate drop 2 and you have to win 2.
We're even closer than I thought. Now I'm
Yeah.
making like... Okay, I'm doing the math and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we're so close. This is one of the most important games of the split.
Yeah,
I knew it
and
was really important, but now that I'm putting the numbers side by side,
you're really thinking about it now. And
yeah, I'm thinking about it. This is really important. Raid needs this win with everything they have, and they're working for it. But Lightside, this is why they're fighting for their lives. They know they cannot let this one go. They
No.
have to be relentless.
Exactly. And if you start to zoom out too, I mean, even potential fears, dare I say, of relegation if Verdant and London actually find some semblance of form in their final 4 games. And Lightside fought too hard as 5P, he's in trouble, he's gone, oh my god!
He's gone and he's not going alone. Sadie meets his maker as well. Born This Way tries to take the lantern. It's not working for the enemy, so I'm just going to flash in the enemy. Shinzao flashes away. Born This Way lost his flash previously, but Karm is trying to close the distance. The lantern gives him some sort of respite, but it doesn't matter. Svene is trying to recall away. Oh, he stopped the recall, and this means he's not going to even see his base go down as the turrets are going to be demolished. The Nexus is open, and Gnar finally gets back into base just to look at it getting completely destructed as everybody on this team is going to fall. He gets the Saces, is fact. He gets himself the Gnar ultimate, but it doesn't matter. He's going to fall into the ground for the shutdown. And this is going to be another one for Raid.
Yeah, that's Rate picking up another win, and all of a sudden that gap between Lightside being in that relegation, oh not that relegation, the promotion race between just those 2 teams opens up, and that's a big deal because now again you have to look towards the other games in the day, right? The Lucent game, the Domino game. If they pick up wins in their games there on today, which to be fair, I think given the matchups, it might be a little bit tough. I'm not sure if I can ask for the games on this frame or not. But you have to remember, if they pick up those wins too, that's a 2-game gap between them and the rest of the pack. And that's going to feel really, really bad. And again, London United, Verdant, they're sat there rubbing their hands saying, okay, that's a team that we can maybe leapfrog above, additionally, to keep ourselves away from relegation or as far away from relegation as possible. But what a performance from Rate. Honestly, I think doing what they had to, the invade didn't go well at that level 1. forced away by that sort of 5-man adaptation from Lightside, which was credit to them for stopping it. But at the end of the day, Rate were able to just play through all the pressure they had on the bottom side. The hyperscaling didn't ever really get to come in from the Aphelios or from the Rise. And despite some pretty stellar team fight efforts, especially from Zvene, some of those big Gnar helmets, Rate was still just too far ahead and too strong.
They did a lot. They had the
Yep.
perfect Exodia team as well, but it just didn't work out. Something happened, and I want to know more about that. So, specifically, we're going to send it to a break. And when we come back, we have some interviews with the players to understand what happened, what could have happened as well, and what's going to happen from now on for these teams. So, I'll see you soon.